for more discussion, I would like to welcome from London Dr. Marcos Papadopoulos, expert in international relations and expert in specialist in the Middle Eastern affairs. Hello, Doctor. We are so happy to have you. We have been following the press conference for spokesperson of the Iranian Foreign Ministry, who will speak and mention a lot of important points. He stressed on that the USA supporting Israel and the US supported the Israeli strikes on Iran. So according to your expertise in international relations, so do you think in this equation, is there any party who really want to have de-escalation between Israel and Iran?
Well, first of all, let us all remind ourselves of how for over 40 years now, Israel has alleged that Iran is days, weeks, months away from acquiring nuclear weapons. Now, that is not an anti-Semitic observation. Rather, it reflects independent and critical thinking. And if Western mainstream media was independent and free, it would also make the same observation. Now, turning to Israel's war against Iran, which in many ways is Netanyahu's war. It is not in the interests of America, for example, for the war to escalate. And I do not believe that the war will escalate because Israel is the only country which would benefit through escalation. So the Iranians will not make the irrational decision by attacking American military bases in the Middle East, because of course that would draw America into the war. But aside from that, the missile war between Israel and Iran will continue, but I do not believe it will continue indefinitely. If, of course, Iran and Israel shared a border with one another, then the missile war would rapidly escalate into a land war. But I believe that whilst the Americans naturally knew what the Israelis were planning, they do not want a war. And when I say the Americans, I mean
yes,
Trump.
They were aware of the Israeli plans. But my question, when we see Trump's statement which might be confused for anyone, and then we have seen him, we get we get used for this kind of statement. My question, what is the current Trumpian plan? What Trump wants right now from this war? Do you think Trump really want to continue that war? He want to participate in this war? What is the current Trumpian plan according to your opinion as expert in international relations?
I believe there is a struggle for power in America which involves the Trump administration and the American deep state. The American deep state naturally wants to see a escalation. They want to see an all-out war against Iran in order to destroy the Iranian government. Trump, on the other hand, I believe, does not want to see an escalation. He obviously has no love for the Iranian government, but he does not favour war. However, he does see an opportunity to bring about compromises from the Iranians through the Israeli war against Iran. So Trump undoubtedly is thinking that through the Iranian government and through the Iranian military being targeted and being severely targeted by the Israelis, this may result in Iran telling the Americans that they are ready to sign an agreement. So on the one hand, Trump does not wish to see an escalation, but on the other hand, he understands that by applying pressure on the Iranians, this may bring about a compromise, an agreement between America and Iran.
We speak about the negotiation table or maybe the compromise, as you mentioned. We are speaking here about the nuclear doctrine for Iran, the Iranian nuclear file, and we know how this is something very important and great for Iran. So how Trump can think that Iran might have the idea to offer compromises or offer concessions regarding its nuclear doctrine. Do you think this might need concessions from both sides if Trump has exerted all this effort to pressure Iran? Do you think after all of these connected things and after having this analysis, do you think Iran might come back to the negotiation table and offer all of these concessions after all of these efforts? Do you think they can abandon the Iranian dream to enrich uranium?
Whilst the Iranians have inflicted serious damage...
Sorry for the interruption. We see these drones entered in the northern troops. The Israeli occupation forces stated that these drones has came from the east to the west and reached for the two region Al-Qahera, indicating that the Syrians has started in different locations in Israel. She's speaking about breaking news came about drones has entered the Israeli airspace. We remind you that we can see this drone came from the west. The Israeli occupation forces added that this drone came from the east to the west to be able to reach Al-Qahera and the Qusayr region. They are viewing some live footage. Once we are back to the studio, we'll let you know. We are back again to my dear guest, Dr. Mark Gloss. I'm back to you. I would like to repeat my question for you. We were talking about the idea. When we speak about the negotiation table, we are speaking about a very important point about the nuclear doctrine of Iran, the Iranian dream. How we can speak that Iran could abandon this dream, and Trump want Iran to abandon something very important to them like that. Do you see any kind of explanation? Do you think Iran have another dimensional or solution for this crisis?
Whilst the Iranians have inflicted serious damage on strategic installations in Israel, nonetheless, the Israelis have inflicted serious damage on Iranian strategic installations. So Trump is looking at this as an opportunity of saying to the Iranians that now is the time to make an agreement. Now is the time for an unprecedented agreement between Washington and Tehran. Of course, Iran, like any other country in the world, is entitled to use nuclear power for civilian purposes. But no one, including myself, wishes to see Iran or any other country develop nuclear weapons. And I also wish to see Israel abandon its nuclear weapons, which it has illegally. So there is an assumption in the Western world that Iran seeks a nuclear bomb. Well, that is an assumption. It has never been supported with empirically based evidence. It is used to justify Israel's stance, Israel's approach towards Iran. So let us see what happens now in the coming days.
Do you expect that there are very big gaps between Netanyahu and Trump? We can see that there might be an agreement, but when we get closer, we find that there is a disagreement regarding the goals. Maybe Netanyahu is looking for the continuity of this war, and he have no problem to have this complete war against Iran. But Trump have another plan. Maybe he is having a long series of plans. He have a lot of plans, and we remember his goals during the campaign. He gave a lot of promises and did not implement. So my question for you, when we can see that there is different goals, different interests between Trump and Israel, do you think this might happen to have this different interests between Trump and Israel?
I believe that the Trump administration seeks a rapprochement with Iran. I believe that if there is an agreement between Washington and Tehran, then this could very well lead to diplomatic relations between America and Iran being restored. And a number of well-placed Iranians have said that Trump sees a golden opportunity for America and Iran to put aside their differences and to embark on what would be a mutually beneficial trade and investment relationship with one another. But that will not happen unless there is an agreement between Iran and America. Regarding Netanyahu, Trump is aware, and I have said for many years now, that Netanyahu and the rest of the Israeli establishment are trying to instigate a war between America and Iran. Israel can inflict serious damage on Iran, which it has already done. Israel has a formidable air force, but Israel cannot bring about the end of the Iranian government. Only American military power can do that. So whilst, yes, Trump has very strong ties to Israel, nonetheless, he is aware that the Israelis have set a trap, and they are hoping that the Americans will walk into it. And as a result, there will be an all-out war between America and Iran. But Trump does not want that. It could happen, of course, but I do not believe he wants that. Furthermore, MAGA, the heart of Trump's power, MAGA, is fiercely opposed to all foreign wars. If there is a war between America and Iran, then MAGA would quickly turn on Trump, and Trump would, as a result, lose his power base overnight.
Who is the final decision maker in the American politics?
Well, that is a very important question. I do not believe that Trump is fully in control of America. The American deep state remains entrenched in power. The American deep state controls the CIA, the NSA, the military, the State Department, and so on. There is a struggle for power, as I said moments ago, in America between the Trump administration and the deep state. So Trump does not have a free hand in all of this. It would be in the interests of the American deep state for there to be a war between America and Iran, but it would not be in the interests of MAGA and America and the American people as a whole for there to be a war between America and Iran. So if there is a war between America and Iran...
How would you interpret the idea of Trump supporting the mediation of Putin? Why Trump accepted the mediation of Putin?
Well, this is a very important point, and I am glad you raised this, because if Kamala Harris had won the election in November of last year, then Harris would not have reached out to Putin to see Putin as a mediator. The fact that Trump has done so indicates that the White House is not fully under the control of the American deep state. So Trump sees an opportunity to involve Russia, because of course Russia has a strategic partnership with Iran. And if Russia can play a role in this, then Russia could play a very important role in resolving the current missile war between Israel and Iran peacefully. So again, that is a positive development. Trump has reached out to Putin. Harris would not have reached out to Putin. Biden would not have reached out to Putin. That is a positive development, and it shows that there is a struggle for power in America between Trump and the American deep state.
So I will use this chance that you are here with us and you are expert in international relations. If we look at the comments of major powers, let's start, for example, by China. China, which only condemned Ankara, Turkey has another opinion saying that the only way is diplomatic solution, and the offer for Trump to mediate. France stated we didn't support and we didn't participate in Israeli strikes on Tehran. How we can interpret the European rule? And according to how you have been following the situation, do you think Iran is fighting alone? Do you think Iran expected that you're gonna have some support from other major powers? For example, China. Do you think China was supposed to support Iran as it was expected?
There was no expectation for China to take Iran's side. China has condemned the war, but China will not intervene. China also has an important relationship with Israel. Regarding Turkey, whilst there is no love lost between Erdogan and Netanyahu, there is a strategic partnership between Israel and Turkey, which has been in existence since the 1990s. And that relationship is not going to be affected by what is happening between Israel and Iran. Indeed, that relationship has not been affected by the Israeli war in Gaza. The Turks and the Israelis continue to share with one another military and intelligence information, and also Turkey continues to export significant products to the Israelis. Regarding the European Union should not be trusted whenever it opens its mouth. The European Union is deceitful, is duplicitous, and of course is covertly aiding Israel. As regards to who is supporting the Iranians, well, Iran is more or less fighting on its own, but I do believe that the Russians are covertly assisting the Iranians, not through supplying weapons, not yet, but I believe that the Russians are to an extent helping logistically and are supplying satellite information to the Iranians.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marcos Papadopoulos, the expert in international relations and specialized in the Middle East affairs. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for this incredible information, this analytic points for you. Thank you so much for being with us.